So what's going on, you guys? So I guess YouTube is just taunting me. I've been avoiding this Kyle Rittenhouse situation for quite some time, and I really wanted to stay away from it. I really wanted to avoid giving my opinion. One of the first videos I saw about the shooting and kind of discussing it and just kind of analyzing it is a video by Colin Noor. I think that's how you Colin Noor. Colin Noor. I don't know how you pronounce his name. And apparently this guy, he went to some fancy law school and he gave a breakdown of the actual shooting. But I really didn't like a lot of things he said in this video. And some of the things he said, I think what he was trying to do was give a balanced opinion in the video. But to me, some of the things he said just didn't make any sense. Before I even get into it, let me talk about another video that I actually watched today. And this video actually prompted me to come out and do my video. And like I said, I've been trying to avoid this for a long time. So this guy, V Radio, he does a really good job at going through the timeline and basically detailing the events of what happened. And he gives his perspective. He claims that he's only trying to tell the truth, but he has to realize that this is your perspective. It's not the truth, it's your perspective of the truth, right? So I guess I'm going to start with him. And I think one of the things that I want to say is that, yeah, he did a really good job of breaking everything down. I think it's probably one of the best breakdowns of the shootings that I've actually seen, right? But he's missing some very critical pieces. And in my opinion, the video that he makes, he think is vindicating Kyle Rittenhouse, but it actually isn't, right? He's missing one key thing. Well, actually, he's missing several key things. The first thing that he's missing is that Kyle Rittenhouse showed up with the intention of doing harm. And I know many people may be like surprised that I would say that. They would probably be offended that I would say something like that, because when you see videos and pictures of Kyle Rittenhouse, you see him, removing graffiti from walls. He's a lifeguard, and they depicted him as a really good citizen. But the thing that you're missing is that there's several videos out there of him on the internet where he tells you, we don't have non-lethal. So this kid is showing up in the area he doesn't even live in, right? He claims he lives in the area. He doesn't live in an area, right? He lives in Illinois. This is Wisconsin. And yeah, I get it. He lives like 30 or 45 minutes away, but that's not his area. To me, if somebody asks if I live in an area and I say yes, I mean, I live like, 2 blocks down, or, maybe at the most 4 blocks over, right? To me, that's the area. If you have to drive to get to the location, then that's not the area that you live in. And that's just me, right? You guys let me know what your definition of living in the area is. But Cal lives in Illinois. The shootings happen in Wisconsin, right? So the guy shows up with the intention of doing harm. He is caught on camera and he admits we don't have non-lethal. So that basically means he has this AR-15 and he doesn't have any warning shots. He doesn't have, and when warning shots, I mean like maybe rubber bullets in the gun or something like that. He doesn't have anything like that. He doesn't have any pepper spray. He doesn't have a taser. He doesn't have anything designed to deter people, right? So the kid is showing up with the gun with the intention of basically killing people, right? And people are trying to ice this thing over. They show videos of him walking around. Anybody need medical? Anybody need medical? Or we're just here to protect the businesses. That's all nonsense, 100% nonsense. Because first of all, he's not a security professional, right? He's not a security professional. If you want to be a security professional in any state, they all have laws surrounding being a security professional. So I don't see how in the hell he is there to protect the business, right? I don't see how he was hired to protect the business when he's not licensed to do so. He's not licensed to be a security professional, and you need that in order to protect somebody's business. And let me say, first off, I just think protecting a business is just stupid. It's just absolutely stupid, because if you're any type of business person, the first thing that you're going to do is get insurance on your business. And if you have a business and you don't have an insurance, then you're the worst business person I've ever seen, ever heard of in my life, right? You're either the smartest business person or you're the stupidest business person that I've ever seen in my life. And the reason I say you could be the smartest is because you've done the cost benefit analysis. You said that you determined that this business makes X amount of dollars, and because the income on this business is so low, it's not worth paying X amount of insurance in order to to mitigate any potential risk of the business burning down, or a plane dropping out of the sky and hitting the business, or someone falling and hurting themselves in the business, and then I'd have to sell the business. These are things that you have to think about as a business person, right? So if a person has decided not to get insurance, is because the business isn't worth insuring. And that could be a smart move. If someone falls down in your business and then they decide to sue, then okay, you just give them everything the business owns and you just wash your hands and just walk away. That's the point of actually having a business, because you're not liable for it. And you're the stupidest business owner that I've ever heard of, because if you have a business and you want the Black Lives Matter to come and burn that motherfucker down, because now you're going to get reimbursed. You're probably going to get reimbursed for more money than you actually put into it. So these are all business decisions that businessmen make. And if you're not thinking like this, then you're not a business person. So I don't understand protecting a business like that. Perhaps somebody can explain why you would run the risk of you yourself going to jail by hiring unlicensed security professionals. So not only does Kyle Rittenhouse needs to go to jail, but the individual that hired him needs to go to jail as well. Why? Because he hired a unlicensed security professional, and not only was the person unlicensed, it was a minor. He hired a minor to protect his business. So let's go through the actual details. So we're not going to go through all these. I don't want to weigh this video down. But the gist of it is that first off, in order to have a security office, or if you want to be a security agency, right, you have to follow the rules of the state of Wisconsin and private detective agencies' responsibility to obtain and maintain bond liability policy, right? So you have to have insurance in case someone gets injured by one of your security professionals. So if you hire a guy and you bring him on to your security team, and then he goes off and he shoots somebody, then you have insurance to basically pay off the family members or pay for that person's medical expenses who your guy shot, right, or injured, right? There's lots of things that can happen in the security world, so insurance is going to be important. So let's talk about the individual requirements for being a security professional, right? Application procedure for private security permit, right? An applicant for a private security permit shall file with the department all the following: a complete application on forms provided by the department, 2 complete and satisfactory sets of fingerprint forms supplied by the department, 1 recent photograph of the applicant's head and shoulders only, a complete address of the applicant. A post office box without a complete location address is inadequate. A fee specified in 44.05, the costs incurred by the department in obtaining information related to the eligibility qualifications of the applicant, a statement signed by an unauthorized representative of a licensed private detective agency. So this is very important. In order for you to become a security professional, you must be hired by a authorized licensed private detective agency, right? Showing that the applicant will be employed by the agency when acting as a private security person, right? So that's the structure of this thing. Either you are going to start your own security firm and you're going to have a bond on that security firm so that if somebody gets hurt, you chase a guy, he falls down, he breaks his arm, you go to court, your insurance pays him out. You got to have that insurance, right? So Cal didn't do any of this stuff. He's just some guy from Illinois who decides to show up in Wisconsin, and he decides he wants to protect businesses in Wisconsin. That's not how it works. That's not how it goes down. So you cannot defend this kid. This kid needs to go to jail. He literally needs to go to jail. And I get it. One argument that they make in both these videos is that he was actually trying to defend himself. Here's a problem with that. First off, let's go over the statute first. So this is the Wisconsin statute for self-defense and the defense of others, right? Which what Cal Rittenhouse was doing, he was there to protect people and property, so he says, right? So let's get into this. A person is privileged to threaten or intentionally use force against another person for the purpose of preventing or terminating what the person reasonably believes to be an unlawful interference with his or her person by such other persons. The actor may intentionally use only such force or threat thereof as the actor reasonably believes is necessary to prevent or terminate the interference. The actor may not intentionally use force which is intended or likely to cause death or great bodily harm unless the actor reasonably believes that such force is necessary to prevent imminent death or great bodily harm to himself or herself. Now here's the thing. The actor may not intentionally use force which is intended or likely to cause death or great bodily harm unless the actor reasonably believes that such force is necessary to prevent imminent death or great bodily harm to himself or herself. Now here's the thing. The first person that he shoots is Joseph Rosenbaum, I believe. Joseph Rosenbaum is unarmed. Joseph Rosenbaum is unarmed. So how in the world are you going to claim self-defense on a man that didn't have a gun? So I think, who is it? Radio V, he goes, in his video, he basically goes on to say that in Wisconsin, you're allowed to use your weapon if someone tries to grab the weapon. Well, the problem with that is, with that logic, is that you weren't supposed to have the weapon to begin with. So that whole theory goes out the window because you have a weapon that you're not even supposed to have. So you can't use self-defense if you're doing wrong, right? What's going to happen is that they have something called the clean hands rule, right? And it basically says that you're not able to take advantage of your own wrong. In this situation, you're showing up with the gun. He's not licensed to have, right? So that's one strike. Then he's caught on video saying, I don't have non-lethal force. That's another strike. Now, basically, he's claiming that he's out to protect our property, and he's not a licensed security professional. That's another strike. So basically, all of these are reasons why the self-defense claim is not going to fly. Because if you were a licensed security professional, then yes, you're there and you're licensed to be there, and someone tries to grab your gun, then yes, you probably have the right to shoot them. I'm not really clear on that law. I really need to see some case law on that, whereby you're allowed to shoot somebody who grabs for your gun. But the problem is that you're not a licensed security professional, so you shouldn't be trying to protect anyone's property anyway, right? So now you look at the fact that he's not supposed to have the gun. He's just not. He's underage. He's from Wisconsin. He's from Illinois. This is in Wisconsin. He's shown up, and he's also shown up, and there's video of him saying, "We don't have non-lethal." So this kid is clearly there with the intent of doing harm, of using lethal force. And unfortunately, he doesn't know when to use this lethal force. Now, I get it. This gentleman, V Radio, he did a very good video, and he basically broke everything down. So what I understand is that one of the individuals, this guy here, right, Joseph J. Zeminski, he actually orchestrated a lot of the confusion that led up to the shootings. And from what I understand from this video, you can watch this video. It's a very good video, by the way. Again, a video by V Radio, and it's titled The Cal Rittenhouse Incident, and it just says a documentary. It's a very good video, right? He's put a lot of work into this video. It's pretty good. But with that said, what happens is that this guy, allegedly, he fires a shot into the air. And as he fires the shot in the air, it probably made Cal Rittenhouse panic. Cal Rittenhouse turns around. He sees Joseph, Joseph Rosenbaum lunge at him, and then he turns around and then he shoots him a couple of times, right? Now, I'll see if I can actually get to the part where he shoots the guy. And they're trying to make a case out where Cal was afraid for his life. I don't mean, that's BS. You shouldn't have been there in the first place. And let's see if I can actually play this part of the video without getting a YouTube strike, because everybody else can do this but me. I'm not even going to play it. But this is the section of video where I'm trying to actually see if I can catch it. I can't catch it. But anyway, what happens is Joseph Rosenbaum, he lunges towards Kyle, and Kyle turns around and he shoots him. And I get it. The other guy fired a shot in the air. And then there's even a third person who fires shots. But the problem that V Radio is not seeing is that Jason Rosenbaum was unarmed. And I don't know where he's getting this theory that if the person grabs your gun, you're allowed to shoot him. V Radio, if you happen to watch this video, provide case law. You got to provide case law with things like this. You got to provide context. You just can't throw it out there and say, oh, if someone grabs your gun, in Wisconsin, the law is that you can shoot them. No, you can't do that. You did a very good job with this video. Go ahead and go the extra mile and provide case law where something similar has happened to this, and the court ruled that the guy can go free. The problem is that Cal Rittenhouse shot an unarmed man. He shot an unarmed man, so therefore that doesn't qualify for self-defense. It doesn't qualify. How are you afraid for your life against an unarmed man? I get it. You heard a gunshot, you were scared. But you showed up with a gun, and you brought a gun when, very few people did. Most of the protesters didn't have guns, right? I understand there was a few bad actors that did have guns, but most of them didn't have guns. And you brought a gun to a protest. And I understand. And even this guy, what's his name? Colin Noor, he basically says that, protest turns into riots and then riots get violent. I get that. but you brought a gun to a protest, and you brought it with the thinking that you're going to use lethal force, right? So that's the problem that he has with this whole thing, is that you brought this gun to this protest and you're showing up with the intention to basically kill somebody. Now, it becomes complicated as to the other charges, because what happens is once people see that he's actually shot someone, they chase him down. And at that point, they, in my opinion, are acting as what's the word I wanted to use? They're trying to make citizens arrest. And this is where the thing gets freaky, because a citizen's arrest would allow you to essentially use force to subdue a guy. So at this point, the people that are actually chasing him down are law-abiding citizens trying to subdue him. They have a right to subdue him because he just shot somebody. He just shot an unarmed man. And so at that point, they have a right to basically subdue him. Now, I get it. The same guy instigate this, and he tries to get the crowd riled up so that they could, basically hurt him. And I get it. Where's this guy at? I don't know if I'm going to be able to find him again. I understand what he's saying. I understand what he's saying. I understand. But once Cal shot the unarmed person, that gave the citizens, the people around him, the right to subdue him with any force necessary. How do we know? Because self-defense, right? A person is privileged to threaten or intentionally use force against another for the purpose of preventing or terminating what the person reasonably believes to be unlawful interference with his or her persons by such other persons. The actor may intentionally use only such force or threat thereof as the actor reasonably believes is necessary to prevent or terminate the interference. The actor may not intentionally use force which is intended or likely to cause death or bodily injury, harm, unless the actor reasonably believes that such force is necessary to prevent imminent death or great bodily harm to himself or herself. So this is the freaky thing about all of this. Cal Rittenhouse shoots an unarmed man. The crowd sees that he shot an unarmed man. So now the crowd has a lawful right. Call them a crowd, call them a mob, call them whatever you want to call them. They have a lawful right to take Cal Rittenhouse down. Why? I just read why. It's in the statute, right? Cal Rittenhouse has an AR-15. And because he has the AR-15 and he's just shot someone with it, the people who are trying to subdue him has a right to use the force necessary to prevent him from escaping and using that weapon again. That's the bizarre thing about all of this. Now, I would get into the citizen's arrest, but I'm not going to do that because it's essentially going to say the same thing. It's going to say the same thing. So here's the bizarre thing about all of this. An unarmed black man is shot in the back almost 7 times, and he doesn't have a weapon on him. He doesn't have a weapon on him. So people get upset and they protest. And so what? They riot. They protest and riot. Who cares? Right? Cal Rittenhouse shows up at this protest and he's basically shooting people. And now you're arguing that Cal Rittenhouse should go free in the riot where an unarmed black man was shot in the back multiple times. Forget it. This dude is going to jail. He's going to jail. The only way he does not go to jail is that you have a jury with no black people. That's the only way he doesn't go to jail. If you have a jury with all white conservatives, then yes, he's not going to go to jail. That's the only way that he doesn't go to jail. Now, there's another reason. There's another reason why he has to go to jail. And for the most part, we are seeing situations where people are showing up to protest, and they are showing up with these protests with guns. And because they're showing up to these protests with guns, they are shooting people. They're promoting violence, or they're provoking violence rather, and then once this violence happens, they're shooting people. This isn't the only shooting. There's a shooting in New Mexico. There was 2 other shootings other places, and the government has to send a message. The government has to send a message that it's not okay to show up to protests with guns, because eventually what's going to happen is that the protesters are going to start showing up with guns. I don't mean like 1 or 2. I mean like the entire people that are protesting are going to show up with guns. And when that happens, and then you have someone like Kyle Rittenhouse showing up with a gun, all hell is going to break loose, guaranteed. And I keep saying this over and over and over and over and over, that we're going to end up with another civil war. We're going to end up in the dark ages where there's just lawlessness and killings everywhere. And our country will eventually end up looking like a burned out war zone. That's where we're headed to if the government doesn't deter these senseless killings. That's what's going to happen. And overall, I just think we need to find a way to get peace across the states. We really need peace across the states, and it's just a tragedy because we do have unarmed black people, being unnecessarily killed, and then that causes people to riot. And now, you have other people showing up because they want to protect their property. It is just one big whole mess. And I don't know how to fix it. But I think it starts with, someone, maybe the president or the next president, coming out and just doing everything they can to, number one, stop the killing of unarmed black people. And then number two, to just do any and everything in their power to bring peace across the nation. I think that should be the agenda for 2021, is just to have peace in the states. Kill the virus and just peace across the nation, right? So that's it for this video. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Do you think that Kyle Rittenhouse should go to jail? Or do you think he should be set free? I think he should go to jail because the protests was about shooting an unarmed black man in the back several times. And now you have this kid. He shows up and he says, I don't have non-lethal. That means he's showing up to kill people. And he's underage. He's not a licensed security professional. And he ends up shooting an unarmed man, right? Leave your questions and thoughts below. Let me know what you think. Should this guy go free? Should he go to jail? Let me know what you think. Please like, share, and subscribe.